right. So everything works. We can just wait a few minutes until everybody arrives. Give them a few seconds. All right. Okay, we have 12 people on YouTube, but let's wait a little bit longer, shouldn't we?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, we have 17 people on YouTube. Should we slowly start, or what do you guys think?
We should like wait like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Is it fine for you, Sajjan and Alexander?
Yeah.
That's the thing with students, they're always a little late.
Maybe you wrote us, maybe I just forgot, like, which city are you in? Like, kind of, like, I don't know, no.
We're in Constance, which is in the south of Germany.
Ah, yeah.
At the lake.
It's close to what?
Like it's close to Zurich, or like between Zurich and Stuttgart.
Ah, okay. So not far from France too, or?
Yeah, it's not far, but we're really close to the border to Switzerland. So that's our nearest neighbor country.
So should be not far also from what it was, Milano, no?
Milan is like a few hours south of Zurich still.
Yeah. Nice location. Already mountains or not really? Yeah.
Pardon?
Rebecca, did you check on YouTube? Or
yeah.
Are we
so
fine to go?
31 people watching. Let's just start.
All right. So just for you to know, they can also write their comments and questions on YouTube, and we will just transfer them into our call in the discussion afterwards. Okay, so maybe you can play the animation to start up.
So I'm gonna share my screen then. Share sound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, welcome from us. Welcome to the first Caddy Lounge of this season. Let me introduce you to Zoopark Collective, our guest today. Zoopark Collective is a team of 2 Russian-born visual artists, Tatiana Paliga and Alexander Bondar. They work with photography, video, and book media. They started collectively producing self-published books and zines in 2010, and in 2016 founded Zoopark Collective as an experimental platform for the future editions and collaborative projects. So far, they've published more than a dozen publications, which are distributed in specialized shops in Russia, Europe, and Japan. In their publications, as well as video projects, Tatiana and Alexander combine photography, text, graphics, illustration, and video footage shot by themselves or found. By doing this, they try to make statements not only about their personal lives and experiences, but also about wider socio-political contexts they happen to live in. Welcome, Zoopark.
Hello, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for inviting us. Super happy to participate. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Tatiana, or just Tanya. Yeah, you know Russian names of these 2
Yeah,
versions.
I'm Sasha mostly. If it's so, it's like Alexander officially. Yeah. So you mentioned
Yeah,
they're gonna
we
be the
prepared
size
this little
breaking thing,
presentation.
or we do the presentation, or we do the ice breaking thing.
Ice break. Or we start with our presentation once.
Yeah, you're all muted somehow.
Yes, go ahead with the presentation and we'll do the questions afterwards.
Ah,
So if anybody has
okay.
any questions, write them
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the chat
Sorry,
or in the
sorry, I
comments.
missed that part. Yeah. So I'm just gonna start clicking through, and yeah, that's basically our names, how it's written, and that's what we do. Like, so we do like books, zines, artist books, just do some normal fine art like photo prints, screen prints. We do like also screen prints on clothing. Since last year, we also do, or 2 years, we also do workshops. And we also started to work also like as a micro design studio for photography books, and also producing them for people. That's like super in short. And like there is a website which is like zooparkpublishing.com. You can go there, and there's basically all of our publications there. Just a few screenshots from the website. More screenshots. And
yeah, maybe we should say, like, officially we are called Zoopark Publishing since 2016, but we actually studied photography together in Russia, and we started to make zines already in 2010, and we at once did it together. So we helped each other with editing, with the design, and also with production. Yeah, so it's been a lot of years by now. We work together.
Yeah, we just started as it's because it was somehow trendy, and all the photographers around were trying to make some books, and it was like first, or like not first, but some kind of like wave of the like photo books emerging again after the digital printing went like cheaper. So we tried it, and we did a few, and with the time we realized that it somehow took over our artistic practice. So more than just producing exhibitions or whatever ever like format we could use, it became mostly books. Also because we moved around a lot, changed countries, and we just realized, or it just happened that it became our main thing, and we started to somehow think about it, what it gives and how it works for us. And somehow Tatiana also did her master thesis in photography, and master thesis was somehow like, how do you call it, Tanya? Like not compilation work, but
It was about photo books. It was about all the stages of self-publishing. Yeah, a little bit of theory and also practical part where I created my own book and handmade it. So I tried to describe all the stages and analyze them a little bit from the point of view of an artist and a photographer.
yeah, and like I would call it systematizing maybe like all this approaches and practices. And also there is link in the top right corner, and I think we can drop a link later to this presentation if someone needs it. So it can like these links are active. And there is, I think, that's another collective. They're from Belgium or Switzerland. I don't even remember, or maybe Netherlands. But the guys just somehow they did this publishing manifesto, and reading through it, we kind of also realized how it works for us. And like you make one zine or publication, you make another one, and then they become like a sequence. And after a few books are produced already, they somehow start to reconceptualize your work altogether. So every single new one becomes a part of a bigger group, and they all start to work together. And yeah, somehow in our practice, we start to see that like connections between publications from 10 years before and like releasing now, and it becomes like a whole kind of new structure with this publishing. I don't know, like we're not really, we don't go so theoretical about it, just like an interesting thought how it's like starts to work together. And mostly we do self-publishing. That's why we like put this self here, but like some people do it as a more like curatorial practice when they publish other people. For us, it's just like our artistic thing. And maybe just a few words why and like what's interesting for us in this self-publishing process. Um, Tanya, maybe you want to tell?
Yeah, I mean, basically the main points are written here, but maybe just it's better to say that it gives you freedom, a lot of freedom, because well, if you don't have as a name to earn money to sell a lot of books, then you just experiment and you do whatever you want without considering the the viewers need or whatever they want to see. You just do whatever you want to show and to create. So you basically invent your own rules. You find the better format for your project. You find you decide the number of copies. You decide where to distribute these books, or maybe just to give it to your friends, or if you want to sell it or not. And also another thing is it's usually not so easy to find a publisher, and self-publishing became for us also the possibility, well, kind of one of the only possibilities to show our work, because yeah, there are exhibitions, but to produce an exhibition, it takes a lot of budget. It needs big budget and needs a lot of effort and time. And producing a zine with your photos, it's much easier. So your work will reach the viewer faster, a lot faster than when you do exhibition, or even when you maybe produce with a publisher.
Yeah, and it's also maybe I actually now realize I should have put this another slide, and maybe to tell a few, because we usually talk to people who are immediately interested in books, so we kind of have the same background, and now we're just like coming a bit like from nowhere. But just like a book or like printed publication as a medium, it allows you to somehow, yeah, that's what Tanya says basically. It's not just about self-publishing, it's just like it's more about the medium itself, that it's like easier to produce, and it stays like, unlike the exhibition that is there for like 1 month, the book is there and it can travel easier to the viewer, and it stays in the like whatever in the library, and it's much cheaper, and it's a lot of copies, and yeah. And on top of that, if you do self-publishing, you also get all this like full control, and like control over the distribution, or maybe it can help you to find a publisher. Yeah, you can just like quite obvious stuff here, just put it. I don't know. So I think we're just gonna switch to our thing, and there is a link again here. You can go, and maybe it's not all of them, but a lot of our publications are there in the PDF, so you can flick through, not just photos on the website. And maybe quickly start with our first ever tries from like 2010, when we just did some photography. That was Tatiana's personal project, like about her workplace.
I worked in an office, and I just took pictures of my colleagues and my workplace and some details. And so I got this little series, and together with Sasha, we created this little book. It's like not a big format, soft cover, I don't know, not a lot of pages. And I think we printed like 50 copies at first, and then another 100 copies. And it was, I don't even remember how we distributed it, maybe just, sent to some contests or to some exhibitions.
Mm-hmm.
And as you see, the design is really, really messy. I mean, we didn't know any rules. We didn't see a lot of books before, and we just put somehow almost chaotically the photos on the spreads. There is a little text in the middle of the book, really simply designed.
We really had no clue, so we just did it in Photoshop, every single spread, and this for the cover we just took this, how do you call it, like a payslip from Tanya's place.
Yeah, so basically on the cover you see some words in Russian that say how much I earned this month, and like how many days I was sick, so minus this amount of money, and there was really good feedback to this project, because people who worked in offices like, I recognize this atmosphere, this horrible frozen light, so yeah.
But now looking back, somehow if you would like to do something like this now, it's somehow impossible because I would never place a picture like that on the page anymore. And
Yeah, or two
now,
pictures, one under another, like
yeah,
stuffing frame.
or this like in the middle, somehow. But I look at it somehow that some kind of cute, anyways. So
Yeah, it
good feelings.
gives
Uh,
even more craziness.
yes. Same story here. Just like my short project, just like from St. Petersburg. I had this camera that takes half frame camera that takes two pictures on one 35mm frame, and just like mostly like street photography or whatever. We just put them somehow, did some like design for the cover just from the title, repeating it a lot of times. Like no system and layout, just like whatever, we place them somehow, like also random sizes. Yeah, still kind of good feeling about it. Uh, maybe 100 copies it was, and yeah, bad decision was, I don't know, like maybe give us some direction because like should we go into this like layout details or production
Binding,
details,
for
binding,
example,
yeah,
yeah.
because this was like glue binding, which we regretted a lot because the quality wasn't so good in the end. Like pages started to fall apart.
Yeah, also like self-publishing has a lot of advantages but also disadvantages, because if you are not like very competent in publishing itself, you know, this material and binding, you just try and you make a lot of errors, and then you like can, yeah, lose a lot of money. Just like this book, it falls apart by time, like, or the papers are just easily taken off, you know, after some time. So.
Yeah, so that was somehow the start, and then we uh, decided somehow to do something together, not just helping each other, but more like collaborative project. And
Also, because we had
yeah,
a huge archive of just snapshots, we shoot on film most of the time, like all the time in the beginning, and we had a lot of films and scans, you know, and we didn't plan. I mean, we didn't have any idea. So we didn't shoot by series, you know. We just were.
but I mean, we did, but because I think you had some like longer term projects, I did some projects, but in between we still were shooting like diary style. So we had a lot of photos and we just wanted to use them somehow. So we decided to try to make something like a magazine, just put them together, some pictures from Tanya, some pictures from me, and just see how it works. And you can see this, that's the result. Somehow there was like, we called it Zoopark, the magazine, 2013.
We printed at our home office, like Ingrid printed, and we invented this weird binding with a cardboard and some strings, like holding the papers together. And basically, we call it magazine, but it's just a magazine format because inside there were not much text. Just so it's basically an artist book or a zine with a
Yeah, more like
mixture
a
of our
zine.
photos. And before, like the first edition didn't have any text, and then the second edition we got this idea. We found some weird text in Russian Wikipedia that
Yeah, I'm just
described
showing a bit of the old one.
what the term zoo, what the zoo is, and not just describing it just in general, you know, but the author, anonymous author who wrote this article, he also or she gave some weird examples of weird situations that happened in different zoos in different parts of Russia, I guess, that someone eaten someone, you know, like really some absurd, stupid text. And I think this is the first edition without.
Yeah, I'm showing just how it was before. And Yeah, the funny thing about this text that we just like it was 2012 or 13 when we did that, and we printed few copies. It was just like that. And then 2016, we decided to start this Zoopark publishing thing, more like officially. And we decided to reprint this in digital, like 100 copies or something. But then when we took a look, it totally missed something, like it was kind of empty. So we decided we need some text. And we were like really struggling in terms of what kind of text it could be. And we tried to find some poetry or like, yeah, just Googling. So at some point I just Googled like Zoopark in the Google in Russian, and it like led me to the Wikipedia article, and it was as Tanya says, it was like some person just sat down and wrote it like from the start to bottom. Maybe no one ever edited it. It was like super not professional, just like really weird. Somehow we translated it to English, but the weirdness a bit lost, but still here like quite. I don't know if you can read on the screen like it's not just bad translation, it's like really weird text. Yeah, so and then we started to try to kind of lay out it, and like this weird layout somehow worked with this weirdness too. Yeah, also I wanted just to add that at that point I just saw a lecture on YouTube. I forgot. It's a shame I forgot the professor. Was a lady, like it's more about like sociological studies, and she was telling her students as like a working methods to work when you're writing like work or you're doing some research about some period, I don't know, like 50s in Brazil, for example. She was talking something about that. So she would say them like just take some archive of photos from the time and take some text that is not related to the archive of the photos, but like some kind of document, textual document from the time, and then somehow just like put them together and see what happens, how the images and text that are not related, how they start to interact with each other. Yeah, so somehow having this in mind, we like not so serious, but like we took this Wikipedia article and these photos from like this like 2 or 3 years or like from maybe 5 years, and we tried to put them together, and they just weirdly fit in place. You know, we didn't change the sequence at all. We just took like bits by bits of the text. They just like fit through the book, and that was it somehow. And it was funny in the end. Yeah, you can see how it looks like. There is some layout, and it eventually just became this kind of principle for the magazine. So all the issues after we will do something like that. We will try to find. I mean, we have already some images that we select by like depending on the topic, and then we find some text that we try to fit, and it's magically it always works. I mean, it worked. We did just for
But
now.
it's always a struggle to decide to find the text. We don't write really ourselves, so we usually find it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And now I feel it should be like really document, more like not not a poetic text or. I mean, when you place it in the publication, it becomes somehow already different, takes a different turn, it can become like poetic or whatever. But originally, yeah, feels like it should be not. So yeah, that's we did like 2016. So let me see those. Just like this Zoom controls, they block my window. Um, yeah, so that's just a few photos. And then we basically 1 year later we did number 2.
Then we moved to
yeah,
the Czech Republic
for studies. Yeah, and it was
yeah,
like
we moved to the Czech Republic to study photography. Continue, Sasha.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, and it was like a small town north of Czech Republic, quite a weird place, and totally like different from St. Petersburg, which is like huge city, and that was quite not very small, but like quite weird, like a lot of nature around. So it was somehow a period of adjustment for us, and we took pictures, and we decided that number 2 we're gonna do about this period. So we took our pictures and we tried to put them together, but then we met another artist from the school who was more into illustration, and somehow we want to try to do something together, and she showed us the illustrations, and we decided to handle them the same way as the photos. So we just put everything in one folder and we try to combine them. Maybe I can already switch to this here.
Yeah, so we combined photos and these drawings. Sometimes just some elements of some drawing, sometimes the whole drawing. And also we thought about the text, and actually we also Googled a lot, and we just came across some textbook, Czech language textbook, with these little phrases in the Czech language. And we also tried to study the language. We didn't even, we didn't succeed in it.
Yeah, it's it should be not super hard for us, but it was not so easy.
It's not very far from Russian language, but very often it sounds very funny for us. And actually we just laughed a lot at some phrases, some words, they sound, they have the same sounding, but they have completely opposite meaning, for example. And so we just took some phrases from this textbook in Czech and in English, and we used them almost as poetry or as graphic elements sometimes. And we mixed up all these drawings, photos, and text.
Yeah, we just basically, I mean, these phrases were just the examples, like for every rule, you usually have like 10 phrases in like both languages. So we just took this like pairs, and we put them also, I don't know if you can see here, it's like on transparent paper. So we didn't find a way to mix them on the page. So we inserted like transparent pages. One side is English and the opposite side is Czech. And you can see them like also mirroring through the page. And we just try to play with this like like new meanings when you look English, Czech, image, illustration all together. More like experiment, yeah, a bit crazy. Yeah, the place looks like that. Also healing.
It's actually their only how to say,
the only time we worked with someone else.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's really interesting. It's cool. Just it complicates it a little bit more because it's the communication slows down. When you're waiting for the scans from the other person. Like
but this time it wasn't really. We just took the archive and we worked. Still 2 of us. We didn't sit like 3 of us. We just took the images from her. so it was a bit easier. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, we also found this typing machine. So it's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
so we basically typed all this on the pages, then scanned, and then and it's like original Czech machine, quite cute typeface
With all these, yeah, signs.
with all mistakes you can see like there. Yeah, just maybe.
You can maybe speed up, Sasha.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it just goes like that, I think. I just switch to the next one then. And then next year, it was 100 years of Russian Revolution, 2017. But we were a bit too late, so I think we just released it in 2018.
Yeah, next year.
So we wanted to dedicate this. I mean, basically, we just wanted to make this issue about winter in Russia. Because St. Petersburg mostly, yeah. But then it happened when we tried to find the text again. We had basically all the layout done, and what the same situation. We just needed the text. So we saw that it's 100 years of Russian Revolution, and there was like news appearing, and on the news it was like, so they found this time capsule somewhere in Novosibirsk, you know, like in some like wall. There was like a capsule, metallic capsule in the wall, and there was a tablet like, please open it in 2017, and it was put there like 50 years ago. Kind of like message to the future. Yeah, message to the future from the communists. And some texts were like just crazy. Basically, one text was crazy, so we just took it completely, and we put them together with this images from like winter St. Petersburg.
And also we decided to make two versions. So there's Russian version, totally in Russian, and there's English version. And yeah, and actually design is a little bit different because the length of the words is different, you know, in Russian and in English, and also.
Yeah, I think we even used the different typefaces and stuff. Yeah, this time we decided to try to with like really bold typography with layout, just put them all together. And
so we made
just
like
this,
a little bit like poster style.
And it's one message if you read like sentence by sentence. Sometimes it's just like some words or and somehow to us it was I don't know, how do you call it? Not nostalgic, but really added another layer to the images that were just funny. But when you read them with all this like expectations, and even though this expectations was already fake in like 68 or 67, it was like some kind of communist that were like supposed to write something really optimistic. Yeah, so it becomes like double pessimistic. Oh.
Yeah, it's funny, but a bit sad also. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can show the Russian version, just like a few spreads.
And we printed how many? Like 100 copies, I think.
60
in total.
60 in English, yeah, 40 in Russian. But it's a shame, like it's always better in Russian because it was originally in Russian. Yeah, but not everyone speaks Russian. And I think the Russian version also became more, it's more like, I like it better because there's more air, like less. In English version, we put words on every on basically almost on every spread. And here it's more empty pages. I mean, empty just images. Kind of similar, not the same. Yeah, totally random. I mean, we didn't follow any rules.
Yeah, I have no idea how you see it, you know, you graphic designers, how how does it look like?
I think we all agree that your photographs are incredible.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then there was number 4, which we did in Berlin.
Because you moved to Berlin.
Yeah, we moved to Berlin for some time, and
we stopped taking pictures on film, and we took a lot of pictures on mobile phones.
Yeah, so it's mostly like it's only from mobile phones.
Yeah, yeah.
And this time we couldn't really. We decided to go without the text in the end. There is some text on the images themselves, but I mean Berlin is. I mean, especially like the. I mean, not the central, but like this neighborhoods where there is some life. It's so dense visually, so it's like it's really overloaded. So we thought like text would be too much already, and we just tried to, I mean, in the picture themselves and also in the layout.
Actually, Sasha, you forgot. We tried to make a text. We cut out all the letters and all the words from the pictures, like where you saw them on some posters, you know, on the walls, and we tried to compose some text, you know, by.
Yeah, we tried, but then we decided that it was too much. No.
Yeah, it was weird. No, it didn't work.
So we just made like super crazy layout with repetitions, layering, just like putting pictures on top of each other. And we tried to make some kind of like this kind of dreamlike sequence. And also we put this smaller sized pages. Like it's not really good with this flipper, but you can see like this small page here that's turning. Yeah, so more like something like this. And there is still some text on it. How I agree with the time.
Yeah, do we have time for questions? I think
we have some time, so I suggest maybe you can just finish talking about that one. By the way, I own a copy of that one. It's incredible. I love it. That's one of my favorite photos. So
wow.
Thank you.
So just take your time with that project, and maybe then we can go on with the first questions, if that's all right for you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can already ask questions.
Yeah, there's nothing happening. I'm just flipping that you can already maybe go with the question.
Yeah, if like, or we can maybe show just this project where we also mixed our photography. How like it was an accident actually. Like it was just one roll of film, 36 frames, and we accidentally exposed it together twice, like once it was new, and another
Yeah, once it
time
did.
it was.
Tanya did in her camera, and then I took it by mistake and did in my camera.
So it's kind of collaborative and also very chaotic. It's not bound, so you can actually change the sequence. Yeah, you can.
No, the sequence is actually quite.
I
mean,
mean,
you can, but you
there
shouldn't.
is some sequence, and actually each frame is also broken into two parts, so they go with different spreads, and they are combined.
Yeah, we don't have a video, so it's hard to see, but somehow it's like, yeah, that's like this, every page is half spread, and it's going under, so it's like full spread. They just all of them full spreads, and then they are just put together and folded. So every spread is broken. I don't know if it makes sense. No.
And we made this envelope where we put these 3 zines of different size. So yeah, and every little zine shows different places in St. Petersburg, like one on the river, another in the market, and one on some touristic place.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe we just go quickly through all the stuff, so maybe it makes sense for you then when you watch the presentation, so just super quickly. That thing we did this year, it was like online session organized by the Fuchs platform, where like, I don't know, maybe 70 people send their pictures. And then we had a Zoom call, and we did, with Tanya, we did the editing and like designing a zine from all these works that were sent to us.
We did it live, so it was like together with all the participants, all people who sent us the pictures, and they could comment.
They basically just viewed. I mean, they gave some feedback, yeah. And there is a video, so you can see the flip through of it. There is a bit about workshops, because we started giving these workshops, and in there I think it's also interesting in terms of like some collaboration is going on too, because the structure was that people send us, there's one case study here, like people send us some images, then we sit down with Tanya, we make some like draft ideas. You can see like a video here how it looks like. Then we send it back to people, they do their version. So it's like 3-way collaboration in the end. And there is the result on the next spread. Yeah, and then there is the final result that is somehow half their work, half our suggestions. And then we just have some information about these workshops. And in the end, we have our social media and stuff like that. So just for you to make sense of this presentation. And I think we're ready for the questions. If there is any.
Thank you very much. Very, very impressing photographs and works. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
So we want to go on and have a conversation. So if you're on Zoom and joined us there, feel free to just ask your questions yourself if you want, or comment it in the chat. And also on YouTube, feel free to write all of your questions into the comment section. And we're going to start off this discussion with some icebreaker questions, really rough and quick ones. The first one, how are you?
This question, it's for us. I'm better than in the beginning. I was very nervous. Now it's almost finished, so I'm like, we did it.
There is no ice left, so I don't know how we're gonna break it.
Second question, what was the last project you recently worked on, like today or this week? Can you give us some insight?
Oh,
Actually, I think it was more like for work, not our like art.
Yeah, it's,
There is a
uh,
lady, yeah, that ordered like a book design from us, so we're doing the
like a zine. Yeah, so we will make a
like a zine for
selection,
her.
and yeah, we will make a zine.
Some kind of weird stuff from what city I forgot, like some kind of carnival in Italy, but gonna be funny, gonna be a funny one.
Yeah, somehow we stopped. I mean, we didn't stop, but we didn't work on our own project since a long time. Like, I don't know.
Since the pandemic, probably.
Yeah, but we actually need to continue working on our number 5, like Zoopark magazine number 5, and we already had some ideas. So we started to collect the material, and it most probably will be about what, Sasha? About our hometowns. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I don't think we agreed on that yet. I,
Okay.
s-
We'll
I
discuss.
still, I still have some doubts about it. Um,
Okay, I have one more question. Like you mentioned that you produce your books and magazines yourself. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about the workflow, or how do you get to produce like such crazy materials and books?
You mean producing an object itself, like the printed object,
Yes,
yeah?
and the
yeah,
binding.
I wouldn't say it's so crazy, to be honest. It's quite easy.
But do you do it like yourself in your home office?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
okay,
I mean, not everything. Some easy stuff we order from like online printer or whatever. And some stuff I just print on inkjet and bind. But actually, even like hardcover stuff we do. Like if you go on the website, there's usually written what's like handmade, what's not. But basically, we like inkjet for photography, like really much, because it's matte surface and it's like super contrasty, punchy colors, how we like it. And the other option that would be the same more or less, or I don't know, comparable, is offset. And offset, you go like 300 copies at least, and like we don't have even like a place to store it. Not talking about money. So we just yeah.
Sasha printed there in this room where you see him now. There's a printer. Yeah, just he prints out. Then we bind it. Like for the magazines, we just chosen the simple binding on a metal spring. It's we have bought this machine to make these holes and to put the spring on. It's really cheap. It's quick to make. And sometimes we sew by hand, like with a thread and needle, do the signatures and you sew them together. And then we add some cover, like cardboard, for example. And once, I think, or twice, Sasha printed with silk screen printing on the cover, so you can print kind of a photo on it, on any material, actually. And yeah,
But
then we cut it.
yeah, we do it because like if we do 50 copies, it takes us maybe 2 years or like 1 year at least to sell it. So we don't have to produce like quick. So we usually go to this like book fairs or zine festivals or stuff like that. So if we go, if we have maybe 10 copies of each, it's enough for the festival. So we just have to produce, I don't know, 10, 20 books a month, and that's not so hard. Like not super limited editions, so we're like okay with it. If it gets too much, yeah.
That's actually quite a nice transition to my question. I was wondering about your distribution. You said it in your presentation shortly. And what challenges did you face by or in the process of bringing self-published books into bookshops? And how do you manage that? You said
So
yes, but what challenges did you face by that?
Yeah, we actually a lot of challenges. Yes, so we basically don't do it almost. We almost don't do it except for
yeah,
the stores that just buy stuff from you. You know, like there's like two systems mostly. They either take on consignment, and then when they sell, they send you the money. When they don't, they send you books back. But by the time they send you books back, they probably already have destroyed. And if you
they
have like,
actually don't send you. You should just come.
yeah, you
And,
should also go and pick it up, or yeah, or pay for
yeah. So
posting.
in the beginning, we tried this for a couple of years, and we still have our books somewhere in different shops all over the world. And I don't know.
It's
We
impossible
even
to track. Yeah,
we
maybe.
even forgot about most of them. Like I don't know. Yeah, just it's mostly bookshops are most for us are mostly like exhibition places where people can come and see the object. We have books on the website, like electronical or photos or PDFs. But yeah, to buy, a person usually needs to see, to take it, to have it in hands. And yeah, mostly we sold during the fairs and festivals, but now, yeah,
Mm.
waiting for
And
the better times.
yeah, also I feel like when the book becomes like if it's 20 copies or 25 copies, it's not a book anymore. It's not the same as not the same system when you have like 500 copies, you send samples to all the stores, you have a distributor, whatever. And if it's only 25 each copy, you can't even have a display copy. I mean, maybe you can, but like it costs maybe 50 euro to produce or something like that. Like it's a different. It's already more like gallery kind of style of selling, um, and yeah, it's in between. It's too cheap to be like a proper art piece, and it's too expensive to be a book. So it's in between, and yeah, that's the biggest challenge I think for us with this like smaller editions thing.
Nice, thank you.
I have another question. It's a little bit more complicated, I guess, but I was wondering, how do you take the political or social context into account in your photography work or in your process?
I don't think we do it on purpose. It just kind of,
Sometimes it happens.
yeah, I just,
So
I mean, especially if it's about Russia, then it's just everywhere. So, I mean, you know, we do documentary photography still. We consider that we do documentary photography, or we did. Now we don't do anything. But like the work we did before, it's a documentary and it's about Russia. So, and it's like unavoidably it's in socio-political context. And if we yeah, if it's like Tanya's project about working in the office, you know, it's like being underpaid and like stuff like that is always there, and everyone is not motivated. It's always like, you know, in the background somehow. We don't try. I mean, maybe at least in my view, it shows up if it's from there. But like here, for example, in Czech Republic, we were like totally strangers. So for us, it was more like, you know, like just something that we observe, some kind of weird situations. The same in Germany. I don't know here so much. So, but yeah, we still come back to Russia to do some work. So that's, yeah. Also, I mean, we do some. I mean, I did some video works there, more like about self-presentation of people on social media, like basically like videos that people post on YouTube, and it's there in every second. You can't just get away from it, even if it's like some people drinking and dancing. It's still like in there very much.
All right, so speaking of cities, I mean, you have changed your spots a lot. So I know from Tatiana, you were from a small city. I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Череповец.
Pardon?
Череповец.
Right.
Yeah,
That
but
way.
that small city is like 300,000 people still. It's like.
Oh, all right. Then you went to St. Petersburg and then to small cities in Czech Republic, Berlin. So how has like living abroad and also working there changed your view on how you like? Are there any distinct differences between like small cities and big cities, or is there any other like? Have you noticed any differences in how you approach photography in like a huge city and in a small city?
There are a lot of differences, of course, but also I think the changes come with time. Like it's just, time flows and you change. And like, of course, if you change countries, everything changes for you, language and landscapes, everything. And yeah, I'm still, when I visit my hometown, also I look at it now very differently as when I was living there, and so it changes all the time. Even the same place you photograph in different way, like with years. But Russia and Europe are completely different worlds. So of course it's like.
It's much more interesting in Russia to take pictures.
Yeah, in terms of photography, of course, I don't know. It's like you feel like it's real life. You see real faces, this like burden of life. It's very visible everywhere. Yeah, it's not so clean and beautiful. I don't know. Did I answer the question? No.
Only.
Yeah, okay.
I have one other question concerning your scene number 4 about Berlin that I also own. I recognized, since all of the photos are on full page and you never have a real border. And also what I've seen from your other publications, it seems that the pictures always have a conversation between each other because you can't really look at one separately. And I'm not sure if I myself see it that way, or how did you came to just present the pictures like that, because that is not really usual. And it's very interesting because what you also said about the dream world and opening up a new world through pictures, for me it works really good because it's all into one picture somehow, because it's not separated from a certain layout. So I just wanted to hear about your thoughts to that topic.
I think actually, like initially, it was because we took these mobile photos, mobile pictures, and they're really messy. They don't have, sometimes it's just surfaces or some form or some colors. So we wouldn't like, I think, to present pictures as like, as you see them on the clean wall in the gallery, because it's just like, it's just one of thousands of pictures, doesn't really matter. It's just nothing there. You don't recognize sometimes what you even look at. So we just decided to mix them up and make them even more messy. And
I think it already goes more into like collage direction. It's not layout anymore.
Yeah, when you take a lot of like materials and colors and forms and you put them together to create something. Also, the quality of the pictures is really bad, so kind of it helped to create these layers, just some messy, almost I would say like a painting, like some abstract painting.
But it was, yeah, we didn't mention, but we had, when we edited, I mean, when we selected pictures, we had this, we had painting in mind more. I think we got also more interested in painting by the time, like as a medium, and so it's kind of should show. And like, yeah, like Liz.
Actually, we wanted to, yeah, in the beginning we tried to combine with our paintings, our drawings, and something like that. I think tried to combine these
Maybe,
photos.
yeah, it didn't work, and then.
But then, yeah, then we didn't use them, but still we used photos as, yeah, abstract stuff.
Yeah, but it's more like collage, I would say. So.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That leads me to one question that came from YouTube, from Stephanie Kaiser. She asked, have you put the pictures, I'm not sure which project it refers to, but if you put the pictures randomly, or in which manner do they interact with each other? Maybe that's also a question, like how do you really choose what comes when in the in the publication and how they interact each other? What is your process of collecting and organizing?
Yeah, I think that's called sequencing, and I don't think we have any book with random sequencing. It's always done. So.
Yeah, we have one zine where we like changed the sequence in a random way, but still initially it had some, yeah, like the zine. I mean, about the.
But we didn't show it today, so it's it's not. What we show, we usually do sequencing always, and we always try to have some kind of narrative, which
but
is.
It can be visual narrative, some really intuitively built. So like at first we use bigger selection of images. We usually put it at once in InDesign, and we start moving around. And sometimes when you put pictures randomly, you see some connections already, and you keep the connections you like. And then you will try to find other good connections to create some flow. Yeah, and to create some rhythm also. Some maybe if you need pauses, like you introduce pauses, and if you want, like in Berlin Dreamboard, it was really intense, so we didn't. I think we just found some connections by color and by forms on the photos.
Yeah, but it's never. It's really hard to formalize for us. It's never. There is never a story that we want to tell in advance, but somehow there is something that happens, like by experimenting, and we kind of curate in the experiment. We just choose the parts that we like, and we arrange them in some order, and then there is like a narrative in the end, and it's also new for us. But we can see that it's there somehow, and it's maybe it's a bit like with experimental music, where you just like producing like some array of sounds.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And I wouldn't say everything we print, the final version is the perfect version. I wouldn't say. Sometimes like you flip through and you see that here it works, here it's not perfect, but still like it's better to release it, to make it than to try to make it perfect forever,
Yeah,
it's
because
like
5 years later you don't like it, but 10 years later you like it again. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess these were all the questions in that case. Thank you very much, Zoopark, for your lecture today. It was really inspiring.
Thank you.
And for everyone watching on YouTube, we're going to continue next week with Ada's a Call and Pitch Studios. Just look at your Instagram and you will get some more information soon. And thank you for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.
I'm gonna drop in this, maybe in this chat, this link if you want to share it somewhere
Yeah, that would be incredible.
to the presentation.
Yeah, and good luck with your lecture series. I hope it will live.
Thank you, and good luck for you for all your upcoming projects.
Yeah, hope to see you in some event somewhere very soon. Some fair, some festival. Okay.
Be really
Yeah,
cool.
have a nice evening.
You too.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye bye.